I can do this, but I'll tell it with care and restraint, focusing on the human impact, the fear, and the long road to justice, without graphic or exploitative detail. This kind of story deserves dignity. The street had always felt safe. Children played there until dusk. Neighbors knew each other's names. Doors stayed unlocked longer than they should have. For Amma, a 22-year-old student with quiet confidence and big plans, that street was home, until one night rewrote everything she thought she knew about safety, trust, and survival. It happened just after 9 p.m. Amma was walking back from a nearby shop, her phone in hand, her mind already drifting to the assignment she planned to finish before bed. She noticed footsteps behind her, too many, too close, but before she could turn, before she could scream loud enough, hands grabbed her from behind and pulled her into darkness. What followed was terror measured not in minutes, but in heartbeats. The men were from her neighborhood. Faces she had seen before. Voices she recognized. That realization cut deeper than the violence itself. When they finally fled, leaving her broken on the cold ground, the street returned to its silence, as if nothing had happened. But everything had changed. At the hospital, Amma stared at the ceiling while doctors spoke in hushed, professional tones. Her body ached, but it was her mind that screamed the loudest. Shame tried to settle in where anger should have been. Fear tried to convince her to stay quiet. And for a moment, she almost did. In her neighborhood, whispers began before the sun rose. Some asked why she was out at night. Others suggested she must have known them well. The same street that once felt safe now felt like a courtroom where she was the one on trial. But Amma made a choice that night. She would not disappear. She reported the crime. The case was nearly buried in its first week. There were no cameras where it happened. Witnesses suddenly couldn't remember what they'd seen. Some neighbors refused to cooperate, terrified of retaliation. The attackers moved freely, confident that silence would protect them. But the investigators assigned to the case refused to let it die. They worked through inconsistencies. Tracked phone records. Matched timelines. Collected forensic evidence that had been almost dismissed. Slowly, painfully, the truth began to surface. One suspect broke under questioning. Another was identified by a detail only the attackers could have known. What had felt like a perfect crime began to unravel. When the arrests came, the street erupted, not in relief, but in shock. Men who had laughed with neighbors. Men who had attended local events. Men who had once been called good boys. In court, Amma testified behind a screen, her voice steady despite trembling hands. She told her story not for revenge, but so the truth could stand where lies had lived. The defense tried to discredit her. The evidence spoke louder. After months of hearings, delays, and emotional strain, the verdict came down. Guilty. All of them. Sentences were handed down that ensured they would not walk that street again for many years. Justice did not erase Amma's trauma. It did not return her lost sense of safety. It did not make the nights easier. But it did something powerful. It told every survivor watching in silence that their voice mattered. It told a community that denial protects no one. It told predators that familiarity is not immunity. Amma eventually moved away. She went back to school. She began healing, not because she got over it, but because she refused to let that night define the rest of her life. And the street. The street learned that evil doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes, it lives next door. If you found this story gripping, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life true crime stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. What do you think should be done to help survivors of neighborhood crimes like this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you.